My name is Jason. I'm 29 years old. At least, I used to be. Right now, I'm lying in a crib, wrapped in a cartoon print blanket, wearing a diaper that smells faintly of baby powder and defeat. Outside the nursery door, I can hear Wheels on the Bus playing on loop. But here's the thing. I'm not crazy. I'm not hallucinating. I wasn't reincarnated, cursed, or born again. I just took a bath. That's all I did. After a hellish day at work, missed deadlines, office drama, coffee spilled on my shirt right before a Zoom meeting. I came home, poured myself a whiskey, and sank into the tub. I turned on my chill playlist, dimmed the lights, and let myself go. I remember the warmth, the slow, hypnotic rhythm of the water, the way my muscles melted. I think I even smiled. Then, a buzzing sound, like static. My ears popped, and suddenly, nothing. Darkness. And then crying. Loud, panic crying. But it wasn't someone else crying. It was me. I opened my eyes to find a man's face inches from mine, wide-eyed, excited, like he'd just discovered a golden puppy on his doorstep. "Ah, you're awake," he said, voice high and syrupy. I couldn't move properly. My limbs felt heavy, uncoordinated. I reached for my face, but my hand, small, pudgy, useless, barely made it past my chest. There was something in my mouth, something rubbery, a pacifier. I spat it out with a grunt, and the man laughed. "Feisty already, huh? I'm gonna call you JC." He nuzzled me against his flannel pajama top. I kicked, twisted, tried to scream, but what came out was a thin, raspy wail like air escaping a balloon. I wanted to punch him in the throat. Instead, I drooled on his shoulder. It wasn't until he walked past a mirror that I saw it. Him and me. I was a baby, barely 2 years old, from the look of it. Puffy cheeks, short little limbs. My eyes, though, they were mine. Still green, still sharp. And even worse, under my chin, faint but unmistakable, a beard, a tiny little baby beard. I froze, and then I saw his face properly. No, 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 no. Travis. I tried to say. It came out as Tbo, but it was him, my little brother. 19-year-old pain in the ass, always on his phone, TikTok-addicted little brother, holding me like I was a goddamn Cabbage Patch doll. And he didn't recognize me. That was the first moment I realized something was deeply, horrifically wrong. Not a dream, not a prank, not even some weird drunken spiral. I had fallen asleep in a bathtub at 29 years old, and woken up in the arms of my little brother, who now thought I was some abandoned baby he'd just decided to adopt. I tried to speak, to tell him, to scream my name, to explain, to plead. But my throat betrayed me. My body betrayed me. The most I could do was leak a warm stream into my diaper and sob uncontrollably. And Travis? He just smiled. "Don't worry, JC," he said. "You're safe now. You're mine." I didn't sleep that night. How could I? I was stuck in a body that wasn't mine. Couldn't even turn over without flopping like a turtle. I lay in a soft crib under a mobile of dancing clouds, eyes fixed on the ceiling, mind racing in a constant loop. What happened to me? Why Travis? Why now? Through the crack in the nursery door, I heard footsteps, a kettle boiling, TikTok audio loops. He was awake, living his life like this was all normal. Meanwhile, I was wrapped in a onesie with a smiling duck on it. Eventually, the door creaked open. Soft light spilled in. "There he is," Travis whispered. "Little JC." He lifted me like I weighed nothing. And I guess now I did. He brought me to the kitchen, plopped me in a high chair, and began spoon-feeding me mashed bananas. "I looked it up online," he said between spoonfuls. "Babies need routine. You need stimulation. Music. Colors. Laughter." I gagged at the texture. Tried to say his name, to say it's me, Jason, but all I managed was growling wah. He grinned. "You're vocal today. Love that for you." Then he picked up his phone and started recording. "Say hi to TikTok. This is JC, the baby I found on my porch." I think he's already smarter than me. He added a crying emoji and a hashtag blessed hashtag. I wanted to scream, punch, break something. Instead, I slammed my fist on the tray. A little thump. He burst out laughing. "Strong little man. This couldn't be real." But the worst part? I noticed a document on the fridge. Laminated. It read, "Adoption Certificate. JC Reynolds, ward of Travis Reynolds." My stomach dropped. The name. My last name. He gave me my own name. He didn't even bother to change it, because he didn't know who I was. When he wasn't filming, Travis would talk to me like I was his emotional support pet. "I used to watch you from the hallway, you know," he said once while rocking me. "When we were kids, you were always the smart one. Confident. Parents like you more." He sighed. "I used to wish I could start over. Be the older brother." Then he looked down at me and smiled in a way that didn't feel entirely innocent. Guess I got my wish. Later that day, he set me in a baby bouncer and walked out to take a phone call. I used the moment to test my strength. My coordination. I managed to flop forward, crawl to the edge of the living room, and grab his laptop, which he'd left open. Every click felt like lifting a boulder, but I made it to Google. I typed with my knuckles, "Jason Reynolds missing," and it popped up. A news article. My photo. Local man vanishes after work. Last seen entering his apartment. No signs of struggle. I was gone. Officially. Wiped clean. I looked down at my stubby fingers, my chubby arms, the bib around my neck with a cartoon whale on it. I was gone and replaced by this. Travis came back. Saw the screen. Froze. My heart pounded. He leaned in. Read the headline. Glanced at me. Then he just smiled. "Someone's curious, huh? That's okay." He closed the laptop gently, picked me up like nothing had happened, and whispered, "You don't have to worry about that world anymore, JC. You're safe here, with me." The next morning, I woke up to the soft hiss of baby wipes and the cold snap of a fresh diaper being sealed around me. I wanted to scream, but all that came out was a dry, raspy wheeze. "Don't wiggle," Travis said gently, smiling like he was some loving parent and not a kid playing God. "You'll get used to this. Babies fight the routine at first, but you'll adjust." He held up a tiny pair of pants with dinosaurs on them. "Rawr," he said. "These are your favorite." No, my favorite pants were slim-fit gray chinos with a leather belt. I had worn them to a date 2 weeks ago. I even remembered the wine we drank. Now I couldn't even drink juice without a sippy lid. Travis strapped me into a car seat. A real car seat, like I was some fragile thing that could snap in half, and drove us across town. I recognized the neighborhood, the coffee shop where I used to work, the park I used to jog through on Sundays. Except this time, I was looking at it all through a baby window, pressed up against a plastic barrier like a prisoner in a clear box. We pulled up to a brick building with rainbow murals. A daycare. He actually took me to a F*King daycare. I squirmed as he carried me inside, but my body betrayed me again. My strength was pathetic. I could barely control my head. "Here we are," Travis beamed, placing me into the arms of a woman in scrubs. "This is JC, new to the crew." The woman cooed. "He's precious." Wow, his eyes are so intense. I tried to speak. He's a talker," Travis chuckled. "But he's been through a lot. Poor thing was abandoned. I'm his adoptive dad now." He handed her the paperwork. Her expression changed to something softer. Pitying. "Oh, you're doing a beautiful thing," she said. I was ushered in with the other toddlers. Drooling. Screaming. Some of them picking their noses and eating it. I wanted to vomit. I used to be a man. I used to make presentations, eat sushi, flirt with baristas, file taxes. Now I was surrounded by snack crackers and fart jokes. I tried to communicate. Crawled to a bookshelf. Found a magnetic letterboard. My fingers shook as I arranged the tiles. "Help Jason, brother." Another kid crawled up and laughed, then ate the letter J. I screamed in frustration. The teacher came over and picked me up gently. What's wrong, sweetheart?" I tried to point to the board. She turned it around, confused. "Is this a game? Are we spelling?" She smiled and tickled my chin. "No more screen time for you, smarty pants." When Travis picked me up that evening, he acted like everything was fine. "How was your day?" he said sweetly, buckling me into the seat again. "Make new friends?" I wanted to claw his eyes out. Instead, I glared. "Oh, come on, JC. Don't give me that look." He chuckled. "You were always such a serious kid. Even before. Remember?" He paused. My breath caught in my throat. "Wait," I tried to say. "You remember?" But he just smiled like it was a joke. "I used to wish I could rewind time," he said softly. "Start over. Be the older brother. Be in charge." He reached over and brushed my baby hair back. "And now, you're mine. Just how it should be." That night, he gave me a bath in a little plastic tub shaped like a whale. I lay there, water around my chubby legs, and stared up at the ceiling. The last time I was in a bath, I was a man. Now, I was a child, with foam letters floating beside me, spelling nothing. Just drifting. Like me, I stopped pretending I was okay. No more fake gurgles or idle stares. No more playing baby. I wasn't JC. I was Jason Reynolds. And I was going to prove it. That night, Travis fell asleep on the couch with the TV blaring. Some true crime doc playing on low volume, showing a man who'd gone missing for years. They used to make me shake my head. Now it felt personal. I rolled over in my crib. The bars were high, but I had spent the entire day testing them with quiet desperation. 2 of the slats were loose, probably from Travis's bad assembly skills. I pulled slowly until one came free. Carefully, I slipped through. My legs barely worked, but I dragged myself across the carpet like a wounded animal. I reached the hallway, then the living room. His laptop was open. I pulled myself up onto a stool, using all the strength my weak little arms could manage. It was like climbing Everest. Once there, I began typing. My hand shook. The keyboard felt massive, like a piano made of sharp glass. I typed, "I am Jason. I am your brother. This is wrong." I stared at the message for a full minute. My heart was hammering. Then, a creak. Travis. He stood at the doorway, rubbing his eyes. "JC." I turned to him. My finger hovered over the enter key. He walked slowly toward me, eyes flicking to the screen. He read every word. Silence. Then he smiled. Not a warm smile. A quiet, chilling, knowing smile. "Wow," he said softly. "That's actually kind of impressive." He lifted me down from the stool, gently. Too gently. "You're really committed to this little game," Huddy said. "I knew you were smart, but wow." I screamed, really screamed this time. A broken, primal sound. I kicked and clawed and slapped him across the face. He didn't flinch. Instead, he placed me on the floor, opened a drawer, and pulled out something small and terrifying. A new pacifier. Black rubber, shaped like a skull. He knelt down beside me. "You know what I think?" he whispered. "I think somewhere, deep down, you do remember being Jason." He popped the pacifier into my mouth before I could protest. "But you're not him anymore." The next morning, the laptop was gone. So were the phones, the letter tiles, the crayons, every possible thing I could use to communicate. Travis put me in a new onesie that said, "Too cute to talk." He spoon-fed me oatmeal and turned on cartoons. Then he leaned in, kissed my forehead, and whispered, "Stop trying to escape." At daycare, I've been another kid. Not because I was angry, because I wanted to prove to myself I could still do something defiant. The staff gasped. Travis got called in. He wasn't angry. He laughed. "Oh no," he said to the daycare director. "He's teething. Sorry. He's going through a phase." That night, I sat in the dark, looking up at the moon through the nursery window. It was full, bright, silent, just like the world now. Nobody remembered Jason Reynolds. Only JC. And JC was mute, helpless, and legally owned by his little brother. The locks changed overnight. Literally, every door in the house, the bathroom, the basement, even the hallway closet, now had a bolt at adult height, gleaming like chrome boundaries between me and any shred of freedom. I wasn't just trapped in a baby's body anymore. Now I was trapped in a controlled environment, curated by Travis. He called it child-proofing. I called it prison. He began installing cameras. One in the nursery, one in the living room, another near the changing table. I caught sight of them blinking at night, little red dots, silently watching me breathe. Once I tried to crawl toward a window while he was in the shower. 30 seconds later, the baby monitor crackled to life with his voice. "JC, what did I say about wandering?" I froze. He knew everything. I couldn't cry anymore. I tried, but even my tears betrayed me, drying up before they could bring relief. I began keeping track of time the only way I could. TV shows. He only allowed educational cartoons. I knew the full season order of Color Shapes Dance Club, down to the number of squeaks in the theme song. I watched the same yellow, triangle giggle its way through morality lessons while my own sense of reality eroded. And the worst part? Sometimes I caught myself giggling too. Travis started dressing the part. Not just the gentle flannel shirts, but full-on dad mode. He bought world's best father mugs. He read parenting blogs. started preparing bento lunches for me, shaped like cartoon animals. Today we're having rice pandas, he said proudly. Tomorrow, veggie rockets. It was a parody of Family, a staged sitcom. Only I was the only one who knew it wasn't real. But the internet was very real, and Travis was using it. He launched an entire page called it Life with JC, documenting the joys of single fatherhood. Hundreds of photos. Captions like, "Found this little warrior on my doorstep and never looked back." Hashtag Miracle Baby. JC's first haircut. Yes, he had a beard, grinning face with sweat. We laugh, we cry, we nap. He had 500,000 followers within a month. He posted reels of me babbling, of me falling over, of me sucking a bottle. I was becoming content. Travis was winning likes for my suffering. And the worst part? People ate it up. One night, while he was editing a video, I tried something new. He had a marker on the counter, a permanent one. When he stepped out to take a phone call, I pulled it down. My hand shook. I crawled to the wall and wrote, in shaky block letters, "I am your brother." The marker squeaked. The letter smeared. But it was legible. Travis came back in, saw the message. He froze, then turned slowly. Our eyes locked. For a moment, I saw something. A flicker of guilt, memory, recognition. But then he smiled and said, "You're so creative. I knew you were gifted." That night, he painted over the wall, replaced the marker with edible crayons, and whispered while tucking me in, "You're not my brother anymore. You're better." It was nearly 2 a.m. when I woke up gasping. Not because of a nightmare. No, sleep had become the only place I could almost feel human again. I woke up because someone was sitting beside my crib, breathing, watching. It was Travis. He wasn't smiling. For once, he looked hollow, like something inside him had cracked open and drained out. "Hey, buddy," he whispered, arms resting on the crib rail. "You awake?" I didn't respond. I just stared at him, wide-eyed, silent, waiting. He exhaled, a long, tired breath. "I used to sit outside your door, you know, when we were kids." He wasn't looking at me. Not directly. He was staring at the mobile above my head, the soft spinning clouds swaying in the dark. "You were so perfect." Everyone said it. Mom, Dad, teachers, even your damn girlfriend at the time. He gave a short, bitter laugh. I'd fail a math test, and they'd ask me why I couldn't be more like Jason. His eyes slowly turned to mine. But Jason never saw me. I tried to speak, to say I remembered things differently, that I never meant to ignore him, that I loved him in my own broken way. But all that came out was a small, pathetic. But his lip quivered. He looked at me like a priest in confession, like he was about to say something forbidden. "I don't know how this happened," he whispered. "Not exactly. Wait." He leaned in closer. "But I made a wish. A stupid ****ing wish." He stood up suddenly and began a pace. "You remember when Mom died? And you didn't show up to the funeral? Said you were too busy with work." I remembered. It wasn't that simple. I had a panic attack at the airport. Couldn't breathe. Couldn't move. But I never told him that. And then Dad just drank himself out of the picture. Left me alone in that damn house. He turned back to me, tears shining in his eyes. I said, "Just once, I wish I could go back. I wish I could be the one in charge. Just once." He shook his head. "And then you vanished." There was a long silence. Just the low hum of the baby monitor and the rhythmic spin of the mobile. Then he whispered, "I didn't do this, Jason." He said my name, my real name. "But when I found you outside my door, looking like this," he stepped closer. His face softened into something like reverence, or maybe delusion. "I knew it was my chance to raise you right, fix everything." He reached through the crib bars and held my hand. His palm was warm, shaking. "You don't have to go back," he said. "You don't have to be him anymore. Let me take care of you. Let me give you the childhood you should have had." I didn't blink, didn't breathe, because in that moment I saw the truth. This wasn't revenge. It was something worse. It was love, twisted, fractured, but real, and that made it even more terrifying. He kissed my forehead. "Sleep well, JC." And just like that, he was gone. The door clicked shut behind him, and I lay there in the dark, wide awake, one thought clawing through my brain like broken glass. He doesn't want to hurt me. He wants to keep me. Travis thought I was giving up. He mistook my silence, my stillness, my fake giggles for surrender. But it wasn't surrender. It was planning. Because I'd had enough. Enough of diapers. Enough of lullabies. Enough of pretending that his delusion was love. I wasn't going to be his baby anymore. The plan started with a plastic spoon. He had given me one during breakfast, a bland mixture of banana mash and oatmeal, which I spat out on purpose. While he was distracted cleaning it up, I slid the spoon into the folds of my onesie. Later, during nap time, I used the spoon to dig at the window frame in the nursery. Spoon, wiggle, scrape, over and over. By the end of day 2, I had loosened one of the bottom screws. By day 4, I could wedge the pane halfway open, enough to squeeze through. If I got the timing right. If he didn't catch me. If the neighbors believed me. Too many ifs. But what choice did I have? On the 5th night, I waited until Travis fell asleep in front of the TV again, snoring, drooling, cradling a half-finished beer like a tired sitcom dad. I crawled out of the crib across the soft carpet and up onto the windowsill. With effort, I pushed. The pane groaned softly, a metallic whine that froze my blood. But it moved, and when it opened fully, a gust of night air kissed my face for the first time in weeks. I could smell the real world. Gasoline, grass, freedom. I slipped through the opening, dropped to the bushes below, and limped my way across the yard. My legs ached. My balance sucked. But I moved. I moved. The neighbor's house was a pale yellow 2-story with a porch light still on. I reached the door and banged my tiny fist against it. Help, I croaked. HHHLP. HHHMMP. Still no real words. Just desperate noise. But the lights inside flicked on. A woman opened the door. She stared at me. A baby in a tattered onesie, barefoot, filthy, shivering. Oh my God, she gasped. Where did you come from? I tried to mouth brother, but the word came out wet and slurred. She scooped me up. It's okay. You're safe now. You're safe. She called 911. I saw her do it. I saw her mouth the words. Abandoned child, bruises on his arms. Yes, he's conscious. I wanted to cry with relief. Finally, someone believed me. Then Travis arrived, in a hoodie, breathless, smiling, the concerned father act ready for showtime. He showed them papers, adoption files, my records, said I had night terrors, said I sometimes wandered, said I got scared of shadows. He showed them at Life with JC, a whole page of smiling selfies, proof that I was loved, that I was his, that he was a good man. And the worst part? They believed him. The woman hugged me one last time and whispered, I hope you get better, sweetheart. And then they handed me back, like lost luggage, like a stray. That night, back in my crib, Travis didn't yell, didn't punish me. He just sat beside the bars, holding my plastic spoon, and said, very quietly, I get it now. You don't want to be taken care of. He looked me in the eye. You want to be broken. After the escape attempt, everything changed. Not fast, not loud, quietly, like a noose tightening one whisper at a time. First, the mobile disappeared, then the alphabet blocks, then the mirror. He took away every object that reflected who I was or used to be, anything that could remind me of Jason. He even replaced my blanket. The old one had rockets and stars. The new one? Just soft pink clouds. No edges. No symbols. Nothing to focus on. Babies don't need reminders, he said with a smile. They need peace. But I knew what it really meant. He was trying to erase me. Mealtimes became ritualistic. He fed me from plastic spoons, one mushy scoop at a time. If I spit something out, he'd wait. Patient. Calm. Then feed it to me again. And again. And again. Until I swallowed. Good job, JC, he whispered every time. You're learning. I wanted to scream, but I couldn't find the strength. Not anymore. Even when I tried to resist, flailing, biting, throwing myself backwards, my tantrums had no weight. He never hit me. That would have made him the villain. No, he just outlasted me. Smiled while I cried. Hummed while I bled dignity. One night, he carried me into the living room and turned off the lights. He sat me in his lap, rocking slowly in the glow of the TV screen. It was a baby video. Bright colors. Soothing music. Something with a talking moon and dancing vegetables. I tried to look away. He gently turned my face back to the screen. Watch, he whispered. I kept turning my head. He kept guiding it back. Watch. Again. And again, and again. After 20 minutes, I stopped fighting, because somewhere inside me, I felt the edges of Jason blur. The screen wasn't scary. It was soft, simple. It asked nothing of me. No identity, no memory. Just watching, just being. Later that night, in my crib, I mouthed my own name like a prayer. Jisoo, Jisoo. I couldn't say it out loud. My tongue didn't remember how. The next morning, Travis placed me in front of the bathroom mirror. He held me under my armpits and stared at our reflection. "See that?" he said. "That's my boy. No more grown-up talk. No more struggles. Just my perfect little JC." He ran his fingers across my cheek. "No beard today," he added. "We're finally clean." I hadn't noticed until that moment, but he'd shaved me again while I slept. That day, I didn't try to escape. I didn't scream. I didn't build messages or steal markers or dig at the windows. I just sat, and for the first time, I didn't remember what my voice used to sound like. I didn't know it was my birthday, not until Travis brought in the balloon. One single blue helium balloon with big silver letters. One today, I stared at it, felt something sink in my gut. He tied it to my high chair. There was a cake, homemade, lopsided, covered in blue frosting and little candy stars. He placed a candle in the center, lit it, then dimmed the lights. And just like that, I was in a one-man party. A grotesque celebration. A funeral in disguise. He sang the birthday song slowly, sweetly, like a lullaby. Musical note. "Happy birthday to you." "Happy birthday, dear JC." Musical note. I wanted to vomit, but my stomach was empty. Musical note. "Happy birthday to you." Musical note. He clapped. I didn't. I couldn't. I just watched the candle flicker. My candle. Jason's candle. The only fire I'd seen in weeks. Then Travis whispered, "Make a wish." I didn't move. He crouched beside me, smiled wide. "Come on, JC. Wish for something good." I looked at him, dead in the eyes, then leaned forward and blew it out. There was applause. Just him clapping. He sliced a piece of the cake and tried to feed me. I bit his finger. Hard. Blood spurted into the frosting. He dropped the fork. Screamed. I smiled through blue icing and blood. It tasted like metal and sugar in defiance. For a second, just one, I felt real again. Human. He threw the plate across the kitchen, then turned to me, face red, eyes wild. But he didn't hit me. No. He hugged me. Tightly. Too tightly. "I know you're scared," he whispered through clenched teeth. "You're confused. But I love you. I love you." I kicked, bit, squirmed. He only held tighter. "You'll understand someday. You'll be grateful." Then he carried me back to the nursery. Locked the door. I cried. I screamed. I tore at the crib bars until my nails bled. I wet myself and didn't care. Because that balloon, that stupid floating balloon, it drifted to the ceiling and cast a shadow on the wall that looked like a noose. That night, I didn't sleep. And when morning came, I didn't cry. I sat in silence, staring, because I knew something now, something that made my blood go still. Travis had no intention of ever letting me grow up. Days blurred into one endless loop. I lost track of time, of self, of hope. Travis's world was a cradle I couldn't climb out of. My body changed. No longer just a baby with a beard. I was becoming something else. Slower, quieter. I stopped resisting, stopped trying to talk. One morning, Travis brought me to the doctor. A kind-faced woman with tired eyes. She examined me gently, checked my reflexes, wrote notes in a clipboard. Later, Travis whispered to me, "You're making progress, JC. Soon you won't remember anything else." His voice was soft, almost tender, but inside, it echoed like a verdict. I lay in my crib, staring at the blank walls. I tried to grab a picture frame, but my fingers fumbled. I tried to speak, but my mouth only made noises. I remembered a word once. Help. It was gone now. I realized then, I was not Jason anymore. I was just a shadow, a whisper, a shell. And Travis? He was no longer my brother. He was my captor, my jailer, my future.